Hello guys and welcome to Ginge Under the Sea. My name is Greg Holder.
And I'm Miriam.
And today we're going to be taking you through some of the amazing shark, ray and skate egg cases, or you might know them as mermaid's purses, that we have found on the south coast of England. Now we're going to show you how to identify the different species that you might find and how to report these finds so that you can actually get involved in shark science.
So come join us while we find out what amazing species we find in British waters.
So let's dive straight in. So you can see our haul of egg cases here that we collected over 8 different days when we were doing beach cleanups on the beaches of Eastbourne and Brighton. And I'll be posting a video about the plastic that we found in those beach cleanups just here once I've made that video.
We're going to use the identification guide provided by the Shark Trust. So the first thing you need to do in order to make the identification process easier for you, you need to soak them in cold water, like this.
And once they're in these bowls like this, you can leave them to soak for 2 hours, up to 24 hours, depending on how long they've been out of the water and also how large they are. When they're in the water, try and make sure they're submerged so you can try and get rid of any air that's inside them so that they are fully under the water. So we're going to leave these guys until tomorrow morning and then we're going to try and identify what species we have here. So we will see you in the morning. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. So as you can see, our egg cases are nicely rehydrated as they would be in the ocean. They've reached their normal size and shape, and they're much more flexible than yesterday and actually more stronger. So that allows us to not break them so easily when we actually identify them, which is really good.
So we're going to start looking at what species we actually have here. Now there's actually 21 different species of sharks, rays and skates in British waters. However, not all of them will necessarily lay eggs. So for example, the mako shark and the blue shark don't lay eggs, they actually give birth to live young. But the vast majority of the rays and skates do lay eggs. And also we have 3 shark species that do also lay eggs because they are oviparous. And the easiest way to tell the difference between a ray egg case and a shark egg case is looking at the tendrils. So you can see with the shark egg cases, they tend to have really long, spindly, sort of wire-like tendrils at the end, which as you can see here actually tend to really grip onto and wrap around seaweed and other plant matter under the water, so they stay still in that seaweed and they're well camouflaged. And then you've got the ray egg cases, which have much longer, thicker, but longer and sort of more pointy tendrils. And these egg cases tend to be laid on the sea floor. And then they have sort of a sticky substance on top, which will mean that sand and grit and small stones will sort of stick to the top of these egg cases and we'll sort of weigh them down and we'll start to cover them and camouflage them on the sea floor.
So yeah, if you collected your own egg cases, then come join us while we identify them. We're gonna pop the web page from the Shark Trust down here in the link below. And yeah, come join us.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Let's go. Okay, so this is a small spotted cat shark, so long thin tendrils that get wrapped up in seaweed, quite a light colour, much smaller than most of the other egg cases, about 5 to 6 centimeters long, really easy to identify these ones. So this is the thornback ray, around 6 or 7 centimeters long, and this is much squarer than a lot of the other egg cases. And the main identifying feature is that the thornback ray egg cases have this keel along their edge, which means you can basically pinch that edge as it's flattened, unlike other egg cases like this one where you can see you just aren't able to pinch the side of this because it just comes to an edge. So that is the thornback ray. Okay, this is possibly a small-eyed ray case. Now these are very hard to identify as they're very similar to the thornback ray, apart from that they have one end of very long thin tendrils, which may have broken off here, and then one end of very short tendrils. Now this species is much rarer than the thornback ray, so which is why if you are unsure, it's much more likely to be a thornback ray than a small-eyed ray. So this is the blonde ray. It is much larger than most of the other egg cases that we found and larger than most species egg cases on the south coast. So it's around 10 to 12 centimeters long. And the other way you can identify this is it does have those large keels along its edge and along at both ends, which can make it easy to identify compared to an ungulate ray. So this is the ungulate ray. This is the most common ray species that we found in our haul of 250 egg cases. This is quite a generic looking ray. It looks quite similar to a lot of the others. The main way you can identify it is that it is around 7 to 8 centimeters long and doesn't have that keel along the side. So basically you can't pinch the edge without actually sort of pinching the insides of it. But it does usually have some connective fibers you can see here where things will start growing off the edge of these fibers to sort of attach it in place on the sea floor. So they can be in a few different colors. As you can see, they go from sort of dark, almost black to almost sort of a golden color once they're rehydrated. So this is the cuckoo ray. So the main identifying features for this is the extra long tendrils at one end. They tend to be about 5 to 6 centimeters long and are found on the south coast. This is the spotted ray. The most significant difference here is it is much smaller than most of the other species we found. So this is, for example, an ungulate ray above. You can see how much smaller the spotted ray is. It also doesn't have any keel on its sides, but can have a few of the attachment fibers, but not usually as many as the ungulate ray. And finally, don't forget to record your findings on the Sharks Trust website that you can see here. And remember, once you click submit, you have contributed to Shark and Ray science.
So that's it, everyone. We found 250 egg cases along the beaches in South England, and we identified a minimum of 6 different species of sharks and rays, maybe even 7. It's quite hard to tell sometimes. But yeah, it just shows you how diverse the British coast actually can be, which is really cool. Yeah, let us know if you have found any egg cases, and if you've managed to identify them, drop it in the comments below. Let us know what you found, where you found it. I really want to know who else is finding some egg cases all around the coastline. If you enjoyed today's video, please do give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click that little bell button to make sure you don't miss any of the newest videos from this channel. So thanks so much for joining today, guys, and we'll see you at the next one.